What is up, YouTube? It is Docky, and we are here with the first video of the year, and we are going to be taking a look at my most anticipated games of 2023, because honestly, this year might be one of the best years in gaming in a very long time. Literally, the first half of this year, we're getting nothing but dope-ass games right off the rip. So we're going to be taking a look at the first 6 months of games and what I'm most looking forward to, and then towards the end, we'll be talking about some other games that currently don't have dates, but I have either played some of the demos for or got in on some of the betas that I'm also pretty hyped for as well. So like I always say, without wasting any more of y'all's time, let's hop straight into this video and start off with the first month, of course, January, and the game that I am most hyped for this month, that being Forspoken. Now, Forspoken comes out on the 24th of this month on PS5 and PC, and is honestly one of my most anticipated games of the year for me. Even before the recent demo that just came out during the Game Awards, I've been saying since it was first shown off as Project Athia that I was going to be hyped for this game. And I have been seeing people sleeping on this game for years. When it was first shown off, people were just kind of like, meh. Or they were making fun of the marketing campaign or even the game's name. But I'm like, none of that has anything to do with the actual gameplay. And Forspoken's gameplay is actually pretty damn good. Now, only concern is how Square Enix will handle this single player game. Is it a one and done, even with other DLC coming forward? So when it comes to that, we'll have to see. But after putting in at least 7 hours of just BSing around on the demo, there is a whole lot of potential for Forspoken. The traversal is killer, the spell casting is fun and works seamlessly together, especially when you have more knowledge on how it works to help improve your versatility and customization and combat types and mechanics. The open world, there's always something to do and fight, and the demo gives you no story context, but it hooks you right away, and I already want to know more about the world of Athia. Now, the only downside about Forspoken is that its release date, and it comes out on the 24th, which means you only have about a week and a half to play it before my most anticipated game of the year actually comes out, and that's Hogwarts Legacy, that comes out on February 7th for early access, or the 10th for next-gen players at least. Now, Hogwarts Legacy is going to be out on all platforms, and honestly, I'm really glad that it's coming out at the beginning of the year, because we'll get to truly see if this game has longevity and what the developers are planning for this in-game and the post-game throughout the game's first year. But as someone who was never into the Harry Potter books or Wizarding World franchise, my fiance, on the other hand, is a massive fan. She collects all the first edition books and first prints, rewatches all the movies, both the American and UK version. She has more knowledge of the franchise than should be humanly possible. So in recent years, at least, I have been slowly integrating myself into the Wizarding World, but this game will definitely be my first proper foray into it, and my god, does this game look amazing. Every time they show off more about this game, from the combat to the day and night cycle to the interactions, the open worlds, the quest, customization, it keeps getting bumped higher and higher on my most anticipated list, and is currently sitting at #1 of my most anticipated games of the year. So I really cannot wait for Hogwarts Legacy to come out February 7th. The only real question when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy is, how long am I actually going to get to play it and enjoy it before March comes around? Because on March 17th, we're getting Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is going to be a next-gen console release. But come on, like, off the rip, we got 3 killer single-player games back to back to back. Like, this is about to be unreal, and the amount of stuff that you'll be able to do in them. Now, when it comes to Jedi Survivor, I don't even need to explain why I'm anticipating this game. Like God of War Ragnarok, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just add to it and take the game from a 10 to a 12. Improve what made the game good without taking away what people liked. I'm honestly just glad that we're getting another killer single-player Star Wars game out there in the vein of The Force Unleashed that's actually canon in the Star Wars universe, and with us getting so much mediocre Star Wars material, I'm glad that we're getting some great stories again coming early this year. But now let's move on to April. Now, this April game, most of y'all are probably going to be like, really? That's the game? Yeah, this is the game. I'm a bit biased with it, but on April 14th, Megaman Battle Network Legacy Collection comes out on a last gen and PC. Now, again, I am a bit biased on this one, but the Megaman Battle Network series was my favorite game series of all time on the Game Boy Advance. For years, I have literally been wanting to replay these games without the need of a phone or computer emulator, and now finally, years later, all 10 of those games are going to be in one place, it was an instant must buy for me. But if you like pseudo tactical RPGs or XCOM style games, you're going to have a lot of fun with the Battle Network series. Only real thing to note is, like most Capcom games on the Game Boy Advance, prepare to skip dialogue because they talk a lot in these games. But moving on to the next month, we are in May. And May has a game that I don't know how I feel about it yet. But on May 26th, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League comes out. It's going to be a next-gen game, and again, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit on the fences with this game. And honestly, we haven't seen a lot of actual gameplay of the Suicide Squad, just a lot of dope-ass trailers. But when a game doesn't actually promote their gameplay and just tries to bait people with trailers, that's never a good sign. So honestly, I'm holding on to hope, but I need to see a whole lot more before I can actually be optimistic or even excited for Suicide Squad Kills Justice League. I'm hoping it'll do good, but honestly, it's kind of 50-50 for me, especially with how the way Gotham Knights launched as well. But now let's move into June, which has two pretty big dog releases, which are in two completely different genres. Now, the first comes out on June 2nd, and that is Street Fighter 6. Now, this is a huge deal for me because personally, I've always been a Mortal Kombat guy. It's always been my favorite game franchise of all time. Honestly, anything NRS puts out, like that's what I originally even started my channel on, was posting NRS games. So Mortal Kombat has always been a big deal for me and honestly my family. It's like a religion in our household. The first game I ever played as a kid on the Sega Genesis was Mortal Kombat. Me and my family have owned every Mortal Kombat release on every platform, even the crappy Game Boy ports, even the crappy one-off PS1 games like Special Forces. All this to say, Street Fighter was like a no game in our household. We were a Mortal Kombat household. We would only play Mortal Kombat. Though I did love Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the PlayStation 1, and Marvel vs. Capcom is probably the greatest tag fighter of all time. Anyways, we rarely played Street Fighter. And when we did, it always seemed to be lacking the features that other Mortal Kombat titles had, like a proper story mode, a conquest mode, mini games, character customizations, on top of just the standard fighting game modes. But Street Fighter 6 is looking to be their most ambitious title ever, where all of that is in it. All new story mode, a free roam battle city, custom characters, mini games, and so much more. So my hype for this game, let alone a Street Fighter game, is at an all-time high. And after getting access to multiple betas, this will definitely be one of Capcom's best Street Fighter games to date, and I cannot wait for its full release. But let's move over to the game that I feel like everybody is honestly most hype about for the month of June, and that is Diablo 4 coming out on June 6th. Now, for me, it's a little different. I'm going to keep it short, but I want to get hyped for this game, but it's Blizzard. And it's also Blizzard in its current state. And I mean, hopefully all that Diablo Immortal money helped them make a freaking quadruple A game with Diablo 4, but because it's Blizzard, I'm already on thin ice with it. So if it flops, I don't know if I'm coming back to another Blizzard title, especially a Diablo title. But that's just the first half of the year that we know so far. Like I said, there's a lot of fall games coming out that we don't have release dates for. So I'm just going to list some of the other games that I am hyped for, that I, like I said, got to play some betas for, or just looking forward to because I know the quality is going to be there. And the first of which is ExoPrimal. Now, I got to play all of the betas for ExoPrimal. The game is actually pretty fun, and the PvE and PvP elements to the game is actually done very well and kind of smart. My only thing is though it was a beta and I know there's going to be a lot more to the full game, it seems like it might not hold my attention as long as I wanted to. Now, hopefully I'm going to be wrong with that because, again, the beta really didn't let us customize our characters, modify our builds too much. We didn't get to see any of the story modes. It was pretty much just a big server stress test and letting people get their hands on the game and see how polished it was. But I will at least say that the game was super polished for being over a year out when I got to play it, because I got to play the beta last year. So the fact that the game is as polished as it is over a year before it comes out, I am a bit more optimistic about it, but it is a game I do plan on covering on the channel, and it is one I am still pretty hyped for. But moving on to another game that I'm kind of hyped for is Assassin's Creed Mirage. Again, we don't have much details on it, but we do know that it's going to be coming out this year, and we do know that this is the longest time that Ubisoft has spent making an Assassin's Creed game. So hopefully with Assassin's Creed Mirage, we get something new or something fresh, at least in the Assassin's Creed genre. I'm curious to see what all that time went to with that game more than anything. Now, moving on to another game that I am actually looking very much forward to in 2023 is Lies of P, and that is that Dark Souls-like Pinocchio game. We've been seeing gameplay for well over a year now, and the trailers look good, the gameplay and combat looks good. It just looks like a very interesting and unique take on Pinocchio, but also a uniquely designed Dark Souls style game. So yeah, Lies of P, I cannot wait for. Though, moving on to another game that we actually don't have much detail on outside of one trailer is Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, the first game was phenomenal. It was amazing. Like, it's honestly probably my favorite Spider-Man game of all time. And Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS5 was actually a pretty solid follow-up as well. It definitely didn't justify its price, but it was still a fun game nonetheless. Now, Marvel Spider-Man 2, I am very curious to see how this game is going to turn out. I'm curious if it's going to be a co-op style game. Is it going to be a companion-based Spider-Man game where you have Miles on your side always? Now, before I move into the last game that I am most anticipated for this year, I do want to talk about another one that we got to see a little bit more during the Game Awards, and that is Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2. Now, my god, this game looks so good. The first trailer they showed like a year and a half ago looked fucking amazing, and I was sold on the trailer alone. I didn't even know what the gameplay was going to be like, but I was like, I want to play this. And though I'm not the biggest Warhammer 40k fan, something about the games I've always enjoyed, whether it be the art style, the tactical based gameplay. I've always liked Warhammer 40k. And Space Marines, even though it seems to be different than their traditional games, it still looks like it's fucking amazing. So I cannot wait to see what Space Marines 2 is going to look like. But let's actually move on to the last game that I am most hyped for, and that's the new NetherRealm Studio title. Now, we have no idea what it's going to be. We just know that it's coming out in 2023, and it's either going to be Mortal Kombat 12, Injustice 3, or that rumored new Marvel fighting game. But the fact that we might be getting another Mortal Kombat game this year already gets me hyped. This is the longest absence for NetherRealm when it comes to releasing a game. They used to be on a 2-year cycle, so every 2 years you get a new NetherRealm Studio game, whether it be Injustice or Mortal Kombat. But it's been 4 years, almost 5 or 4.5, and we haven't got a new Mortal Kombat game or new anything from them. So the fact that we're going to be getting one this year, I'm hyped for. I don't even care what it is. If it's the Marvel one, that'll be sick. If it's another Mortal Kombat game, I'm all there for it. And if it's an Injustice game, I'll kind of be surprised, but I'm all there for that as well. So I cannot wait for whatever it is that NetherRealm Studio is going to release this year for their next game. So that's going to wrap up my list of most anticipated games of the year. Like I said, I tried to list one from January all the way to June, the first half of the year. I might do another one towards the middle of the year as well, but I am curious to see from y'all, what games are you all most looking forward to in the year of 2023? There are honestly a lot. I was looking at the list of them. There's a lot of games coming out this year. Like I said, 2023 is probably about to be a massive year for gaming. So I can't wait to play all of it. But these are the ones I'm most looking forward to, so let me know what y'all are most looking forward to, or if y'all agree on my list. Other than that though, I'm going to wrap it up. So like I always say, thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you liked the video. If you didn't, still leave a like because nobody's going to see that dislike. And if you haven't joined the Discord, I have links to that in the video description. I cover all things that we cover on the channel, guides, builds, we just chat it up, voice chats, and LFGs in there as well. So if you want to stop by the Discord, link to that is in the video description as well. Also, when it comes to live streams this year, I'm going to be streaming on YouTube this year. I feel like that's the better avenue for me and for my audience since everyone's already here. So I think YouTube is going to be my platform of choice. I kept switching between Twitch and YouTube, but I just feel like YouTube's the better place currently right now, especially with Twitch being Twitch. I'd rather stream on YouTube. So YouTube is where I will be streaming all year this year, as well as a second channel with a couple other content creators as well that I will be discussing a bit more in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned for that, and be sure to follow me and catch me on my live streams. Other than that though, guys, I am out of here. Like always, thanks for watching. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the subs. Happy New Year's. Peace.